I'm back. I'm back. I'm back? I'm back.
Oh, baby. We here.
We steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome back to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is G a P S.
The only football show that churns the butter.
And I can't even eat it.
So lame.
I'll die. I'm so lame that I can't eat butter.
Yeah.
That one wasn't even a choice. Sorry. Blame my parents.
I do.
Good.
You know,
My
I
mom's
send them
gonna
a
listen to
little
this show
letter
later.
every Christmas.
Okay, good.
And why did you make Tom allergic to cheese and a Packers fan?
Well, technically that was my dad's fault because if he wasn't a Cowboys fan, yeah.
Mm.
Can I show you
Scooter? I forget.
Is my dad Scooter?
Yeah.
We do look very similar, so honestly, we might be, yeah.
Are either of your parents allergic?
Nope. And neither is my brother. Yep.
You were just the one bad sperm.
Yeah, I was like the one. I was the one that's just like, all right, guys, I'm coming. And the other one's like, you know what? Let's just let this guy get a win.
Just latched on to one of the other one's wings because sperm have wings. Yeah, sperm have wings. And you just like cruised in and then waited for someone else to do the work, like at the beginning of Look Who's Talking, and then you just snaked in.
So what I did was, as a sperm, I organized a stand-up comedy show, right? And I was like, hey guys, we're all gonna meet like near the uterus, right? But don't go like any tubes or anything, because it's gonna be a really funny show. And when I got them all there, I just swam upstage. Done. Got them.
Well, welcome back, Gabriel.
Been using comedy as a survival mechanism since before I was born.
Yeah. It's the great equalizer.
It is.
There should be like a they do a lot of things to try to prevent bullying and anti-bullying. It just should be like comedy to deflect problems.
Yeah, that's called comedy as a defense mechanism. That's literally like I was born.
No, that's what I'm saying. Schools should teach it. Nobody teaches that.
So here's the thing too. So this is an actual story from a Q&A. I may have drank a little bit. But basically, I was just imagining myself like being a sperm. I was going back, and the Sports Center music is just like he could go all the way. Like highlights would be amazing.
Yeah,
just saying.
So Boomer was narrating you going in,
and he's going up the fallopian tube. Whoop! Just saying. Sporadically, intermittently, we kind of talked about it.
Yeah, I got to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I need a list of I need to know when you're going to be, who you're going to be meeting up with. And my goal will be to try and schedule shows with some of the other creators you're going to be meeting. So
I'm just meeting up with you.
Oh, okay.
So it's just you. You have to do the show
every week.
Yep. Just
I like that, actually. I do.
Yeah,
like that.
It's just called PS. And then you end the show with P.S. I love you.
Welcome to the Perna Show.
Yeah. Yep. Day one, baby.
Ooh.
Day one. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Brandon Perna has missed a ton of news. And it's just been rolling in since you've been gone. Just a ton of news, just flying. And
no, there's not.
There
But like,
hasn't.
if you miss a couple shows, it starts to stack up. Like,
Yes.
I would see things. I was like, oh man, Tom and I could have talked about that. We could have been talking about this. But I really just tried to detach from everything.
So you went to the coast?
We went to San Diego.
San Diego, yes.
It was
was
family
nice.
vacay. My parents, Jess's parents, Carmi. Well, Seattle Sooners.
Say
oh, you're gonna get a Vikings fan. Yeah, we went to San Diego. It was cool. I held a fan event in San Diego, and nobody showed up, so it was just like a Chargers game. No, we didn't do the zoo.
Did you go to the aquarium?
Yeah, we did the big aquarium, also known as SeaWorld.
What was there? Oh, you went to SeaWorld?
Yeah.
You saw the whales in the bathtubs? You ever see the documentary Blackfish?
Nope.
I'm going to go into explicit detail about it.
I knew if I said SeaWorld, you were going to say something like that.
I didn't say anything. I was just asking if you saw a documentary. I was just
asking. I ate a little whale while I was at
You ate a little whale?
Yeah.
Yeah? A little one? Is it a baby?
Yeah. It was a hot dog, but I said,
But it was a whale
pretend
dog?
It's a fish from the place. We did La Jolla. We did the Hotel Del. We hung out. It was cloudy the entire time, but
the whole time there's not one.
Like no sunlight whatsoever.
Oh my god, that sounds like a great trip for me.
Yeah,
it sounds great. Anytime I walk outside and the sun's behind the clouds, I'm like, it's safe.
Yeah, you run that risk in May in San Diego, but whatever. It was fun. It was good to detach. Watch the Nuggets beat the Lakers, sweep the Lakers. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you sweeping is already a GIF in my Discord.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's just what happens.
Yeah, I had my dad yelling at the officials. I don't even think he really cares about the Nuggets, but he was like getting at those biased refs. But that was fun to watch. That was exciting. Been paying attention to the Nuggets Discord on the national media level. The disrespect is just through the roof, but it's good. They need that. They need that chip on their shoulder.
Well, apparently the Celtics remembered how to play basketball last night.
They learned.
So
I'm hoping that goes to Game 7 and the Heat win. I just want them as tired as possible.
Yeah, we want to be tired. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the Stars coming away with a win yesterday. Best offense in all of Dallas. So just saying, maybe that gets pushed a little bit too. That's what I hear. The poop nuggets are
dead to me.
They're too boring.
Yeah,
it's too boring. That's it.
Imagine being working for a company like Sports Illustrated, going on a sports show, and saying the team going to the championship is too boring to talk about. That'd be like Tom and I saying, like, you know what? I don't think we can talk about football 3 days a week. It's literally your fucking job to make it interesting. Yeah, sure. Some days are dry here, but what do we talk about? Tom's sperm. We get through it.
We get through it. You know, we do the best that we can. Speaking of, so everyone's been asking. I got at least 15 DMs, and it was just like, is this the trip that Brandon is going to make another baby? Like, I was just getting slammed.
No.
So here on GPS this morning, do you have any big announcements?
No.
Okay, good.
Also, even if it was, I don't think it happens that fast. I don't think that quickly. That quickly.
I'm sorry. Has Jess eaten a turnip lately?
Yeah, because
then
we live in Mario 2.
Then it's done. That's a mushroom. Okay?
Not in Mario 2.
Mario 2. Oh, no one talks about Mario 2.
Mario 2, it's turnips, right? I'm right?
God, nobody talks about Mar. You say Mario, like Mar. It is
Mario.
I always get made fun of for that. It's because I say Mario. Because like I'm Italian and New York.
Hey. So. Yeah, I don't even think Italians say Mario.
Okay, you know what? How about you
It's
suck
a Mario.
It's a
Damn.
Good kitty. Ooh, first house. Let's go.
There you go.
Yes.
Welcome to the pressure of can't fail. Got that mortgage. Now the pressure's on.
Let's go. Congratulations. Congratulations. What's this one? I don't even know what this. Oh, here we go.
There's some amazing guys on that staff. Coach Grossi, guy who puts all this time in.
Put all my time in. Got you, Russell. Appreciate you, X.
Look,
congratulations.
Russ is looking trim, slim, svelte.
Tua put on some muscle, dude. Tua's like, I am freaking ready. Yeah, I do want to talk about the kickoff rule too. I don't even know if we put that in the rundown.
I did. Check, please.
Yeah, how's McManus doing?
Hey, I put it under McManus. All right, that was.
I was going to put
when I'm going to make a Brandon
I accidentally
McManus
wrote
video.
the first draft was McManus signs with Broncos. I accidentally wrote that first. But so this is really interesting, and this was causing a lot of controversy this week. So the NFL, because they had their like big owners meeting, like their big meeting in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And they were talking about rule changes, and they were talking about onside kicks. That didn't get changed again. But one of the things that did get changed, and apparently like coaches were against this, but they weren't at this meeting, so it didn't really matter. And Goodell was really for this. They wanted to allow anytime within the 25-yard line on a kickoff, not a punt. That's important too, because people were getting confused with that. On a kickoff, so if you're on the 10 and you call a fair catch, it automatically gets moved up to the 25. And so you have a bunch of people speaking out about this, especially coaches are like, what the hell? Like, we legitimately didn't want this. They're saying it's a 1-year trial. Dan Campbell was talking about this, saying we're just taking away things from the game. And a lot of people, including myself, think that this is kind of starting to maybe phase out kickoffs, because they've been kind of diluting kickoffs for a while, because that's where the majority of the injuries happen, because, they're running at each other full speed, basically the length of the field. And so what they changed, right, was the fact that when you kicked it off and it was a touchback, goes up to the 25 now. Then, of course, they can't move until the ball is kicked off. So, Perna, as someone who's been disconnected from football, your thoughts?
Why don't they just make it where if you do a fair catch, it puts the ball on the opposing team's goal line? Just move them to the goal line at this point. Screw it. Like, they just, that's all they want. It's so stupid. Okay.
There's going to be a classic Brandon Perna rant. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Let's rev up those engines.
It is some Goodell bullshit, right? Like, they talked about having a meeting and that it was very unproductive. And that was mainly due to the fact that the higher ups already wanted this thing to happen. Yeah. So they don't have a conversation. They're just like, we want to do this. Everybody's like, no, we don't like this. We're like, too bad. Fans don't like it. Players don't like it. Coaches don't like it. Fuck it. We're going to do it anyway. That's how the NFL just runs. I don't know why we get surprised by it every year.
Yeah.
The thing that's odd to me, if they're going to try something out for a year, why not try the thing that's actually working in the spring leagues? Why not try that, where the kickoff actually remains important? It's a part of the game. It is safer the way they're doing it. It doesn't take out the kicker or the special teams players. Your returner's still important. Your kicker is important on kickoffs because they moved it back further, so it's harder to even get touchbacks. And there's a little bit of, there's the risk there, because if the ball does go out of bounds, it's moved up to like the 45, I think, for an illegal kick. So instead of just neutering the kickoff, which is what they're doing, it gives teams almost no incentive to return the ball.
Well, here's the problem too, and this is just super ironic. The Packers, who haven't had a good return guy in a long time, Keyshawn Nixon is arguably one of the best ones. We finally got him last year, and we actually played him, and now we're just oh yeah, we're just gonna do it. And I get it, right? Because they're trying to reduce concussions. They said they could reduce it down to 15%
they could
or something.
The XFL. That's how you reduce it and keep it interesting.
So the XFL, because they line up, right? If I'm not mistaken, they wait until the ball is caught. And what are they lined up 10 yards away?
Yeah, they're right in the return zone. So that They're not sprinting downfield. Both teams are all right there. And I thought that there would be a disproportionate number of like kicks returned because like the line of defense is right there. So it seems like, oh, you break that first line, returner's gone. But, you know, it was still tough to do. And I think it was the Kelsey on the Kelsey's podcast that they're talking about the NFL. They're going to, there's like they can reduce concussions by what, like 7% or 12%, some shit, some arbitrary number.
Yeah, it said like something like 32 or 33 to like 15 or something.
Yeah. And I don't know which Kelsey brother said it, but they're talking about reducing concussions in the name of safety here. They flexed Thursday night games. They added the 17th game to the season, and I forget the other thing. But there's like 3 things they do to make the game harder on players to add more injuries. Just by adding a week of football, you're adding more injuries. Doesn't even have to be concussions. And then they're like, yeah, but we're making the game safer this way. So, you know, I agree with that. Then Travis went on some weird thing about the third QB rule that didn't make any sense. But, yeah, this just sucks.
Yeah, the emergency
they're just going to get rid of it. Like you said, they're going to get rid of it. Nobody's going to like it, and they're not going to give a shit.
Well, I mean, it's really funny because in my humble opinion, this last CBA, I think the NFLPA got pushed around hard. Like they did, because the fact that there was an additional game that was added there, which almost nobody liked, right? Like in terms of the players, no players are asking for this. No. And for the arbitrary Thursday night flexing that now can occur. And again, now there's flexing that can occur on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and Thursday Night Football. Now with Thursday, there has to be a 28-day notice, and it can only happen, I think, in December, right?
28 days later.
Yeah, great movie. Great zombie movie. True story.
What's the one with Sandra Bullock?
The Blind Side. So
no, it's 28 something.
28 weeks later?
No. Continue.
Oh, with Keanu Reeves? The Lake House.
No. It's just called 28 Days.
About Time.
Dominic West, Viggo Mortensen, Steve Buscemi. What a cast.
What a cast. Yes, people are saying Speed. That's what we're looking for. Anyway, they're making these arbitrary things. And from a viewer perspective, I'm like, thank God we will actually see like good Thursday night football in December. But as a fan who might go to games, you're like, well, this kind of sucks. Because if you book your flights, if you book your tickets, and then you book your hotels, and then like it's still a month out, but they're like, hey, now this game's on a Sunday. Oh, well, sorry. So I think that is the frustrating part. But again, the NFL doesn't care. And players hate playing on Thursday. They hate it. They're like, oh, you get like the 10-day break, but you have to play like football after 4 days. They're not super thrilled about it. So yeah, I agree. The NFLPA, like, because even the sitting out now too, right? Like they punish the crap out of players if they hold out for more money. Like it doesn't, if they sit out a certain amount of time, it doesn't count as like a year on your contract. You lose like thousands and thousands of dollars. So yeah, it's not great. Oh, and also like and it's not even turf, it's uneven turf, right? And because you could have really crappy grass, we saw it in the Super Bowl. Yeah. It's just that it's all up to the owners and teams, and a lot of owners are like, well, we just want to save money.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that it's like they're trying to fix something that isn't broken. I think like everybody wants there to be less concussions.
Of course.
But you can't you can't remove it from the game. You can do all these things like tackling, education, like all these things, making sure certain hits are flagged, but you're not going to be able to remove it. And it's like the NFL is trying to overcorrect from when they just hid the fact that concussions were a thing. Like they just straight up squashed the research saying concussions are bad. It's the same league. different people at the top now.
Sure.
But like, it's silly.
Because as we have said forever, Brandon, the NFL is not a proactive league. They are a reactive league. So anytime something, I mean, again, and take the politics out of it completely. Like, this is not a surprise. Look at what they have done on like key issues, right? We're talking about like domestic violence, in which you were having, like, this was only a few years ago that guys were getting suspended for like 3 days. I'm sorry, 3 weeks, right? Like, they were getting like suspended for like 3 games, and that was it.
2
or 6 games, maybe, if you were. There's that. Then they're like, oh crap, we should do something about it. We talk about the concussions. Hell, even Colin Kaepernick kneeling, right? And again, this is the political part. Take that out. The NFL cracked down on that so hard. They're like, we have a policy. They're like, they were making them stand and all that stuff. And then they were like, oh crap, hold on, let us reverse real quick. And now let's, be like, nope, we're all good now. I promise. We're not going to do that. That they're going with the flow, but they do it in such a disingenuous way that it comes off as just, you can mock it, because it's just not like, hey, let's be proactive. Like the kickoff here, even the news surrounding it and coming out with it and saying, no, like, you're having Roger Goodell is the one pushing this. And coaches and players are saying, no, we don't want this kind of kickoff. And they're like, it's fine. We'll try it for a year. That's dumb.
The thing. It's like, if for these like rules, like if they're trying to change a rule and the purpose is to be safer, to reduce concussions, I think the only thing the NFL has to do is like poll the players, right? It should just be up to the players, and they can check on it every year. But like, if the players are fine with it and everybody going in knows the risks, then like, I don't see the reason to change it. And I don't think there are many players who would be like, yeah, let's do this rule because we are scared of, the 7% or whatever their percentage for concussions is. Like, if you're going to side on the NFL here, where like there are more concussions on kickoffs, right?
Yeah.
It's usually happening to fringe players anyway, right? And like, these are special teamers. These are guys who
that's
are
what
on
you're
the
talking
roster
about.
because they're playing on special teams. And so like a concussion to them, they miss some time. Like, it could cost them their job from season to season, right? Like, I get that part of it. But I think it should be up to the players for safety issues in terms of like rule changes to get the beat from them.
But so here, okay, there's 2 things I want to say to that. One, actually 3. One, sometimes you actually put like main roster players on there too. Like AJ Dillon was doing kickoffs.
Well,
and, like,
it's not just those guys.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you could have that increased risk, right? So that's one. The second thing is, instead of the NFL trying to find a workaround to make their current iteration of kickoffs work, they're just kind of taking components away. And I think that's what I don't like the most. It's not trying to be innovative. It's not trying to be like, you know what? Here's a cool spin on a kickoff, or here's how we could still reduce concussions, because that is of course what we want to do, right? We want player safety. And so, all right, let's come up with an innovative way to try and reduce that without subtracting from the game. Because when you start subtracting from the game, and I'm not talking about injuries, I'm talking about like actual gameplay in which guys like Keyshawn Nixon, they have just like decreased in value. He's probably not going to call a fair catch ever, but they just decreased in value, so that you're taking that aspect away from the game. All of those fringe players that you were just talking about, this is the third point, who make the squad, and someone mentioned this about Tyreek Hill, because of their special team play, that could also impact them as well. So I think that when the NFL just goes, oh, well, like, this is a problem, we can reduce it, let's just take it out completely, that's where you're going to see a lot of this backlash. Because instead of trying to be innovators, they're taking parts away, and it's a shame.
They're murderers of fun. MOF, murderers of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We're not talking about the bright side here, Tom.
LPA?
if a team's like, we're not going to return any kicks. It's either going to go in the end zone for a touchback, or we're just going to catch it within the 25 and it's going to be a touchback. You could see an offensive lineman be your returner.
Yeah.
Let's just say your offensive lineman's got the best hands. You could have 350-pound Mekhi Becton fair catching kickoffs.
Yeah. Well,
that could be so fun.
But here's the thing too. Like, you miss those moments. Like, because you're mentioning
that. Put a child out there. Just put a child out there.
Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that with the Packers. When the Packers were playing the Patriots on primetime, you had the big O lineman return it and almost get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Trust me, I remember. I was about to like throw myself, through a window. But like, that was one of the that was a cool like historical moment. Or again, you see like crazy kickoffs that happen and like return for touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Like, it just
gone.
It's taking stuff
Devin
away
Hester
from the
wouldn't
game.
have existed. Fuck that guy. That's basically what the NFL said.
Yeah. Listen, did he actually sign with them? I know he was working out with them.
I don't know if he signed.
I don't think he signed, but I know that because I think he has potential other practices lined up too. Because it's the prosecutor said like there's no charges, right? That's what they said.
What?
Oh, Brandon's back already. I said the prosecutor said there's no evidence that like he was there and stuff.
Yeah.
So now he's gotten all like these practices and like warm-ups. Yeah, if he's like exonerated, like go. And that honestly, like, what a horrible, like it's a horrible situation, because I remember reading those initial reports and I'm like, those are horrific. Like, if this happened, that's like, it was really brutal. Like, it was not good. And if that's not true for him, like, I hope that he's able to like get back, into his profession, because like that it's not a good situation.
Yeah,
honestly.
No, they said there's like video evidence that he was not at the house when the alleged incident occurred. Yeah. And so yeah, he should get another shot, because his life was ruined on what could have just been basically a lie or a story he wasn't even part of. But were we talking about kickoffs?
Perna, you've been back for 27 minutes.
Yeah, I was trying to find something.
What are you trying to find, buddy?
I was trying to find if he had actually signed. I don't see that.
No, I don't think he has. He hasn't. Can I show you something cool real quick, Brandon?
Yeah. Is it your helmet?
No, it's not my helmet.
Oh.
Stop looking at my tweets. Don't do it. See, but I don't think so. I disagree with this.
Yeah.
Well, like, the Bills lost out because like they wasted a draft pick kind of thing. But I think
rounder or whatever.
Yeah, the Bills' response to it, though, I think was necessary based on the facts that we had at the time and the way that it was being presented. I don't think there was any way around that, right? Yeah. But now, like, yeah, it sucks for the Bills, but I think it sucks for Matt a whole lot more. So, as long as he can get back to a team and, kind of get his career back on track, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, was punting what cost the Bills their Super Bowl run last year? No.
So,
show me, what do you got there? Oh, two little footballs.
So that's a piece of the actual goalpost from the Ice Bowl.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
I love this thing so much. You know how happy this makes me. That's a great point, Rashad. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing too, is again, the NFL used to glorify that. We've talked about it on this show before, like the big hits, right? It was like the biggest hits of the week. Like, that was all on SportsCenter. And it was like, look at this guy get destroyed. Like, you're watching a guy get a concussion. And now, like, they've shifted a bit, which is the right thing to do. And I'm not mocking them for that. But I think you're going to always see some backlash when you're going to see some major rule changes. And it seems like they really haven't even put a lot of thought into it. Like, I'm going to give you an example that really bothers me, and I know it bothers you too. Okay. Quarterbacks, most important position on any team.
Debatable.
Just, if you don't have one, doesn't mean that you can argue that. Okay. So
you can get 5 wins without one.
5 wins. So you have a quarterback. They want to protect quarterbacks because quarterbacks equal ratings.
Lame.
They lead to better games.
Lame.
Anyway, so because of that, they want to protect their safety. And so the NFL has told us, well, we want to protect these QBs, which everybody agrees with. Yes, you should protect QBs because it's better when the best players are playing the sport, right? Good. And so the NFL goes, well, because we need to protect those players, you need to deal with crappy roughing the passer. You need to deal with crappy officiating. You need to deal with all this stuff. Like, you have to. Like, it's a side effect of that. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think we've kind of been numb to it and be like, yeah, well, like, this is going to happen because you want to protect players. Or they could just do a better job training their officials. Like, like, that's also an option. And we talked about officiating on the show. The last time we did the show, we were talking about officiating. You don't necessarily need to have both those things. You could have player safety without disrupting the game in such a negative way that it either takes away, slows down, or like turns out to be total BS with bad officiating.
Yeah, better job training the officials and just a better job getting those calls right. And they tried to bring it up of like reviewing, roughing the passer. And obviously everybody points out, the pass interference reviews didn't work because they didn't want them to work. They made no effort to make those work. It just became a rule where the refs were going to agree with whatever call they made because they didn't want to look stupid, which is egregious, right?
It's a whole other thing, yeah.
And Goodell, like, anytime Thursday Night Football is criticized for the short turnaround, he just says, well, there's a lot of players who like that 10-day break, right? I don't hear any players saying, you know what? I actually prefer that 10-day break. I love playing on 4 days. Maybe a young guy, but you never hear a veteran player like speaking for that, right? Yeah,
very rarely.
Like, maybe every now and then there's like a guy who's like, yeah, after the game, like, we got 10 days, we're gonna recharge. Like, that's,
but like, that's just because that's the NFL's gift to them. Oh, you have to get into another car accident 4 days later after getting into a car accident 4 days previously. Well, here's a 10-day break.
Yeah. But it's like, what the NFL needs to do is they need to double down on technology and roughing the passer. What they need to do is have teleportation. So if you could just have an official who is living 30 seconds in the future, he can review the play from the future and relay to the normal officials that was not roughing. That is roughing. Doesn't slow down the game, and you get the call right. If Elon Musk is trying to put fucking chips in our brains, I feel like teleportation for NFL officials is closer than we think. Next topic.
See, the problem is, Brandon, is like we have these great conversations and then they circle down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
can we get back to the whole
and innovators are criticized.
Can we get back on track and talk about sperm? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. Speaking of teleportation, what would happen if non-allergic Tom Grossi made it through?
What?
Would you be the same man if you were not allergic to dairy? I don't think you would.
Probably be a little bit bigger. But then again, would I have gone vegan? I mean, that's a good call. Probably. I probably still would have found my way there, but
Would you trade? Because you're what, 6'1"?
Oh God, I wish. I'm 6.
Oh, 6'0".
Yeah.
So 5'11" and 3/4 probably.
We can stand next to each other when I see you.
Oh yeah, you'll look tall. Would you take? Being able to eat whatever you want for being my size, 5'8"?
No, I don't miss any of I miss one thing of the things that I can't eat.
What is
so
it?
I've never missed cheese because I've never had it without it trying to kill me. So I've never had that connection of oh man, ice cream, because I saw people eating it around me, but I never could have it. And now there's a lot of vegan options, so it's all good. But yeah, no, I'm good. I don't miss. The one thing I miss though is chicken wings. That's the one thing, because I love chicken wings. And just like to find the consistency of that is very difficult in vegan form. That's the one thing that's really difficult to replicate.
When you're here for your 30 for 30, I am going to take you to the best wing place.
It's 30 in 30. God
and
damn.
Johnny Barks and I are just going to devour wings in front of you. And then I'm going to ask you the same question again. And we'll see if you would be short so you could eat some damn chicken wings.
You know that the chicken wing thing is a choice.
Yep, but you can't eat it.
No, I literally could go to the supermarket now and buy some.
We're eating in front of you, me and Barks, going to Wing Hut. And you're going to stay outside and watch through the window.
Guys, we got to go film now.
Don't worry, there's a dollar store close by.
Bro, it's so
Succession
good.
was very good last night.
I
watched it last night because I was on vacation.
You didn't watch it while on vacation? Dude, come on now. I'm so happy that it's ending before I leave for 30 and 30. Like my flight is on Monday. Like I'm leaving on Monday to get to Green Bay and it's super early in the morning. I'm still staying up and watching Succession and Barry. But yeah, wow. I have to do that.
Okay. Oof.
Anyway.
So the Broncos did cut Brandon McManus. And
yep, they did.
That was a little, I mean, the timing of it was a surprise. We've kind of been talking about whether or not he would be on the bubble. Will and I talked about it in a podcast because it mostly like, his salary was a little high. It just seemed like the new coaching staff is wanting to make a ton of changes. But it is weird to cut a kicker in May and not have a plan to replace he's a good kicker. And people are kind of shitting on him for no reason because his field goal percentage was down last year. He had two kicks above 60-yard attempts that he didn't make. I believe he was perfect on all his 50-yard kicks. He was like 10 for 10, and he missed a couple short range ones. And he was the last guy from the Super Bowl 15 roster, and now they got to find a new kicker. And I am still opposed to getting rid of a good kicker when you don't have,
Jaguars traded their kicker to the Lions.
Yeah, like I would have liked to have seen them if like there was a guy they were going to compete for the job in training camp. Maybe it's a late round draft pick or an unsigned, free agent. But no, he's just gone, and now they bring in Brett Maher as a tryout, and like everyone's just like, you mean the guy who missed like 4? How many field goals did he miss in that game? Can't even remember because it was too many.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little worried about the kicking sitch moving forward. I think the Broncos would have been in better. I think they would be in better field. They're going to be in better field position this upcoming season. And McManus wouldn't be asked. It wasn't just 60-plus yard kicks. They were both supposed to be game winners, a 64 and 63-yard kick. He didn't make what were two of the longest kicks in NFL history before Justin Tucker got the 66-yarder. That's not a high percentage make for any fucking kicker. And there's a lot of kickers they don't even ask to kick from that long.
And one of them was in Seattle. It wasn't even mile high.
Yeah. What sucks too is like the guy I would want to come in is Robbie Gould. But the reason they're cutting McManus is money. And the reason Robbie Gould left San Francisco is he wants to be paid what he's worth. So I don't think they're going to bring in Robbie Gould. So yeah, it sucks. It's kind of like the official end of living in the past. We have no more.
No one from the Super Bowl. Yeah, no one from the Super Bowl team, right?
Yeah. But anyway, are we going to talk about which teams are under the most pressure to succeed?
Yeah, we still got 20 minutes in the show, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. Right off the rip. Let's go. Buffalo Bills. Arguably the team with the most pressure on them, I would argue. Right? I think that's a fair argument. Because like there's other teams, like for example, the Lions. There's pressure on them to like win the division because like the rest of the division seems weak. Like they are getting all this hype. They're getting the kickoff. But I don't think there's like, oh man, the Lions are expected to win the Super Bowl this year. The Bills, after last year being by far Super Bowl favorites and the season just not working out, there's some pretty significant pressure on them, I would say. A big boy. Big boy.
Well, I'm trying to find. I wanted to. This freaking thing.
All right, as we can.
I'm efforting my account.
You say you're efforting.
I'm efforting. How do you reset a tier maker? God dang it.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, here we are again, folks. Here we are. Welcome.
Carry the show, Tom.
Oh, okay. Do you want to just keep talking about other teams? Because the Jets, the Jets are on it. Here you go, Perna. You happy?
Let me see. There you are. Oh, wow. Tom at Wing Hut. Best wings. Best wings.
Never been. I heard they're okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Best.
Anyway, the Jets have an absolute ton of pressure on them as well because, of course, they traded a bunch for Aaron Rodgers. This is like their window. They don't know how long they have. It's going to be like 1 to 2 years. And Queen Williams, there's all that drama going on too. So Bills and Jets, I would say, are probably the most pressure right now. Yeah, the Bills, like, you have to think that this is... all right, here's a question for you. If the Bills don't make a deep playoff run, does anything significant happen? Like, are we talking firings? Are we talking, like, player changes?
I think the Bills trade Josh Allen to the Broncos if they don't make it to the Super Bowl.
I'm not talking about your fan fiction. I'm talking about...
And Von Miller comes back, and he's the first ever NFL player to play for free.
I got a good run. All right, so the Jets...
too. I bet we could do something with Diggs.
The Jets have a lot of pressure, I think. Right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with Buffalo, right?
You tell me.
Week 1 last year, they come out, they destroy the Super Bowl champs.
And we're like, wow.
Yeah. They have to stay healthy late in the season. And once they get into the playoffs, they have to do something this year. I think just getting back to the championship game is kind of where obviously they need to get to the Super Bowl, but they just didn't feel right late in the season. And they started so strong. Like we need to see Buffalo starting to peak in December as opposed to, September, October, and then playing worse. Obviously, we'll see if Josh Allen and his elbow are better and his turnovers need to change. That was another big thing, was just he had played so well, so safe with the football the last few years. And then last year, and it was in the red zone. So, yeah, there's pressure because they're the team that's supposed to be able to compete against the Chiefs, knock out the Chiefs, weren't that team, which I also think it's the Cincinnati Bengals up there as well. Joe Burrow is going to get a huge contract. They have the receivers, the playmakers, their line should be good again. Question is, hopefully that defense. Yeah, you can't put it all on Josh. But like Buffalo's been a good team, and it hasn't been all on Josh. It's just the style they play.
Nope, their style of play is making Josh Allen the superhero. And listen, there's plenty of times where he lives up to that bill. But the problem is, when they put a lot of pressure on Josh Allen, sometimes it doesn't work out, and you need a fallback plan.
They got him. His name is Latavius Murray. Trust me, baby.
All right, Jets. Yeah, I agree through the Bengals because they're on still like that tried and true method of have a franchise QB on a rookie deal. That's the best time to get a Super Bowl window because they're going to have to start spending a lot of money. T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, right? Like they're all starting to come up. So they're going to have a lot of pressure because you're going to see some big changes potentially soon, even in just terms in salary. So they're on there. Jets, as I mentioned before, because the Jets, the playoffs, I think, is like the minimum, the very, very, very minimum. And I think, though, with Aaron Rodgers talking the way that he's talking, the way the Jets are talking, the way that they've given up all of this for Rodgers, they took on his contract, they kind of need Super Bowl.
I mean, I think they need to win a game in the playoffs.
I agree.
But I think if you're going to pick one team that has the most pressure to be very good, it is the Jets. I think the Jets have more pressure than the Bills. And it's just because the high profile QB change.
Sure.
It's what you expect Rodgers to do. And don't get me wrong, and it's because their defense was so good last year. And all of the criticism was just if we fix Zach Wilson. Because even when Mike White came in and played well, it's like, hey, if we just finish out the season with Mike White, we'll be in the post. Then he gets hurt.
Yep.
You're screwed. Joe Flacco. Oh no, let's pull. Nah, we tried Joe Flacco. So I think the Jets, and I put him in the thumbnail, and I think the Cowboys are the two highest pressure teams to be successful. And the Cowboys got to win.
Yeah.
They got to win 2 playoff games.
Yes, they have to get back to the championship game. I'm going to throw a little curveball in there because I think there's another team that has the most pressure on them. I think it's the Cleveland Browns. Because if Deshaun Watson is not good, dude, that is like, that heads are going to roll. If he turns out not to be the guy after the contract that they gave him, after 3 first-round picks, like at least 3 first round that they gave him, they have to be good. And again, they don't have to win a Super Bowl this year, right? Because Deshaun Watson's under a long contract, but they have to be good. Like they have to either be competing for a playoff spot and they have to be like right there, or they need to make the playoffs. Because if they don't, and Deshaun Watson's not your guy, holy crap, it is going to blow the hell up. My opinion.
Yeah. No, I think the Browns are under a lot of pressure. Broncos are not under a lot of pressure. Sean Payton is not under a lot of pressure. But Russell Wilson is like
all of it.
Because if Russell Wilson's bad again, he gone. Like, it's maybe not from Denver that following season, but like his career in Denver is over. So it's squarely on him to be good because everybody is assuming that there won't be an excuse, right? So like, Hackett gone, Sean Payton comes in, unanimously thought of as an offensive genius, right? So if Wilson can't perform with the Broncos, it's really their offense. Like their defense can take a step back. Nobody's gonna bat an eye. But Wilson's under an insane amount of pressure. I don't even know if it's more pressure than last year because the scrutiny last year was so bad that I have to imagine the pressure felt like pretty rough at times.
I think it's worse this year for him.
But
no, I think it's 100% more for him this year because last year you had the potential out, even though Russell Wilson did not look good, you had the out. Maybe it was just Nathaniel Hackett, right? Because when you had the interim coach come in, like things got better for a little bit. So I think Sean Payton, I don't know if he's actually sat down and said this, but you have to think that in his mind is like, I don't care if he works out or not. Russell Wilson, he's good this year. Cool. He could be our QB. If not, I'm moving the hell on. And because he's not even answering to the GM, he's answering to the ownership. Sean Payton, has full power there. And if he goes, Wilson's not the guy, they will draft a new QB at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. All right. So which rookie QB has the most pressure to succeed?
Ooh, definitely not the Titans or win one game. I think if the Titans, honestly, because it seemed like they are on the verge of just falling off a cliff. I don't think anyone's thinks that the Titans are going to be good this year. So I'm not going to say Will Levis because no one has any expectations for Will Levis. It might be Bryce. I think it might be the Panthers that have because he's the number 1 overall pick. I think he's going to have the most pressure, even though it's not an insane amount because they're in a weaker division. The Panthers, I don't think a lot of people are thinking about the NFC South in terms of being a powerhouse this year. So I'd say
it's a little crazy to me that both the Panthers and Texans are trying to take the heat off Young and Stroud by basically saying they're not necessarily going to start the season.
Yeah.
And the Colts are like, you know what? Richardson probably ready to start the season. Like the exact opposite of the narrative we were like pitched, right? As fans. But I think you're right. Like the Panthers, like you said, traded up to get Bryce Young. And it's not necessarily just this season, but the next 2 seasons, ton of pressure on Bryce Young.
Dude, you want to talk about singular players? Yeah, the Falcons, but the Falcons aren't even under a lot of pressure to win. They just like Bijan better pay off for them because they got a ton of criticism for picking him top 10 when they had Algier. That's a great point. He has a ton of pressure on him.
I think another team, another player, high pressure, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, someone was saying that before. Yup, in the super chat. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, the Ravens.
Yeah, it was Anthony.
I don't know. They added, I think maybe the most overhyped acquisition is Odell coming in to save Lamar Jackson.
I love this crusade you have against OBJ. And it's not even like an active one. It's like, I don't even like, you don't even not like him. It's just, we've talked about OBJ so much on this show. And I feel like every time you're like, no, because you just don't know. I think you just don't know.
I think he was great.
As a sure thing. Yeah.
He's just good now. And he's coming off that second, like, I don't know, giving Lamar Jackson, Odell Beckham Jr. to like save him. I don't know. That'd be like me giving you cheese to save you. It's gonna cause a reaction, and it's probably not gonna be very good.
Why is Washington's old logo next to the Commanders logo? Oh no, it's the Washington football team and the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I just grabbed it. It's not even the Commanders.
It's fine. I just noticed
they're under pressure.
Yeah, no, none. Yeah, honestly, win one game is the Rams. I agree with this with Justin. Rams, Bucks, they have like no pressure because no one's anticipating that they're going to be good.
Wait, Rams, no pressure?
Yeah, it's right. It's like win one game. Maybe some.
Yeah, no, of course. Rams don't have pressure.
Bucks, yeah, same thing with the Bucks.
Where are you?
Bottom, Bucks? 3 over. Yep. All right. Cardinals. There is nothing there. Yeah, no, there's nothing.
They do have pressure.
For Kyler Murray?
Yeah, let me tell you what they got.
When he comes back?
Let me tell you what they got.
I get that. That makes sense.
No, damn it.
No, it's not that. Okay.
Full blown tank.
Oh, by the way, did you see that too? That the Commanders like lost out on their trademark? And so that's odd. Dude, if they change their name again,
shit was hilarious.
I would die laughing. That would be so funny. So funny.
Oh God, they might have to change their name.
Don't worry, we'll be talking about
something cool. Might have to have a cool name.
Just go with Red Wolves. It's such an awesome name, and it's right there.
Another pressure team. New York Giants and Dan Jones.
Do you say most pressure or little pressure?
No, I think they got a lot of pressure.
Okay.
They just paid Dan Jones. Okay.
Yep.
Giants fans expect playoffs now. And I just don't know if Daniel Jones is the guy to carry them. He has to show like a leap in progress. And this is a weird point in your career to have to make another leap to prove that you are the guy.
I feel like medium pressure. Because I agree with you, but I think because the Seahawks are kind of in the same boat though. Yeah. I mean, the Seahawks and the Giants are very similar in which people are not expecting them to be good last year. Both their QBs, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, overperformed expectations. Right. I know you don't think so for Daniel Jones, but you know what I mean? I feel like it's medium. Good.
I think the difference between Dan Jones and Geno Smith is
Kyler's going to be hurt though.
The Giants are expecting Daniel Jones to be the future, and the Seahawks are hoping to win with Geno Smith. But the way they did his contract, like, it's basically a 1-year deal, really. If
but
they
Daniel
want
Jones, they can get out of his too. Like, that's what I'm saying. They're similar, dude. I'm telling you, they're similar.
I think the Seahawks trust their system more.
I agree.
But I mean, I think the Giants are getting there. Like, I believe in Brian Dable, and I think he's going to do. I'm not betting against Brian Dable, but like, it feels to me like the Giants got their guy. The Seahawks think they've got a guy they can win with for a while, but if a better option presents itself, he's recovering from
he's gonna be out for like half the season. He like blew his like entire knee when the third snap against the Patriots.
No, they did not say he would be available before.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. He's not. He's gonna be out for like a couple months before, like after the season starts.
Jaguars got a little pressure.
They got some pressure.
I think they're expected to win their division.
It's bothering me because I feel like little pressure is like win some games. I feel like it's medium pressure. I feel like medium is like the.
How about we just go meaty pressure?
You know what? I'll compromise with you. Yes.
Girthy pressure.
That's worse, but okay. All right. So
Girth Brooks.
I say the Giants have girthy pressure. Yep, that's a phrase I never thought I'd say in my life.
Girth Brooks.
Okay, so real quick, I agree with the Jaguars because they should be able to win their division. Another team, and this is where the Lions, or not, sure, Chargers, yeah, they have some girthy pressure. God, this is the worst phrase ever that you're making me say. The Lions, they got some girthy pressure because they had the expectation is they win the division. It's not Super Bowl, but they win the division because if they regress, which I don't think they're going to, it's not going to look good because the NFL has even put a ton of stock into the Lions because they're opening against the defending Super Bowl champions. Like, that's a big spot. That's a huge spotlight, and it's the Lions. So if the Lions are going to change the narrative of like, oh, it's just the same old Lions, it's Detroit, which started to shift last year, then here you go. And that's not coming from a Packers fan. That's coming from a media standpoint because the media 1,000,000% has a bias against the Lions. It's just a fact. Talk to any Lions fan, they'll be like, yes, there's a bias against them. When bad calls go against them for the rest, it kind of goes unnoticed. They don't really care. The main, like, it's kind of like how the Nuggets are treated by like the NBA media. Here with the Lions, it's same old Lions. And there's starting to be this transformation that is occurring. And if the Lions get blown out week 1, it's not going to quiet that noise. So it's really the Lions fighting against that narrative like, hey, we're not the old team. It's like what the Bengals did successfully. It's what the Browns did successfully too for a hot second too.
Yeah.
But now it's the Lions' turn. Can they kind of shed that skin of being same old Lions, LOL Lions? We're going to find out this year.
I'm pretty sure I did a video about like the history of Lions and the horrible calls against them, and nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like, but that has changed. You're spot on. I'm adding another single player. Brock Purdy. A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Both to get healthy and back on the field, and once he returns, to be really good.
You know,
because I think the Niners are in this weird spot because we did a whole episode talking about San Francisco not getting criticized, right? Like when they don't deliver.
Yes.
And I think that's still true. And I think that takes off some of the pressure because they've got a built-in excuse going into the season right now where they don't even have they don't have the pressure. They don't have like super high expectations because they don't know who their quarterback's going to be to start. It might be Sam Darnold week 1 for the Niners, but I think there's pressure on Brock Purdy.
See, I think there's like a decent amount of pressure on them because of what you're saying. Because like they might just throw Sam Darnold back there. There's already like this, wow, they're going to untap like Sam Darnold's potential and all this great stuff. I think if they traded Trey Lance, there would be a significant amount of pressure on Brock Purdy. Now there's still pressure, but it's like a medium amount because they still have that backup. Because the 49ers have been operating where like, yes, okay, Jimmy's our guy. All right, Jimmy's not really our guy. We're going to go Trey Lance. But Jimmy's still there just in case. Like they're rolling with this safety net, which is not a bad way to go because they're both on their rookie deals. But they're rolling with this safety net. And I think if Brock Purdy turns out to be, I don't think he's going to be, but like a one-year wonder, they still have the potential in Trey Lance.
Sure.
But how long are you going to keep that entire team together? Like all those skill players? Sure. I think there's a good amount of pressure there.
I think there's pressure on Purdy. I don't think the Chiefs have much pressure.
Cardinals.
Their biggest pressure, Russell Wilson.
Don't lose to Russell Wilson.
Don't lose to Russell Wilson.
Agree with that.
Here's a team I think is under a ton of pressure.
Yep.
Philadelphia. Maybe the highest expectations of any team in the league heading into the season.
They're expected to walk into the Super Bowl in the NFC.
Yeah. They're expected to be up 35-0 at halftime of the Super Bowl. Greatest draft in human history, according to us. Jalen Hurts was awesome. All their guys, most of their offense, all their guys came back, coming back. Probably upgraded in the backfield. Yes, they lost some pieces on defense, but should be replenished because of that draft. Howie Roseman's just a fucking wizard. Jason Kelsey and that offensive line should just bulldoze everybody they play.
We'll talk about it.
Got to stay healthy. So really high expectations.
I do. The Colts are interesting. I think it's win some games. It's like Anthony Richardson has the majority of the pressure on him, but like it's win some games.
I think the Packers and Colts are kind of in the same spot where it's not really about their final record.
Yeah.
It's where the Bears were last year in that they just need to see
Yep.
enough out of Jordan Love and Anthony Richardson to feel good moving forward, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And so that brings up a good call about the Bears then. Let's talk about the Bears because the Bears were in that, hey, is Justin Fields. I think there's girthy pressure. And again, they don't have to even win the division. They don't like maybe a winning record, but it's like, hey, all right, what was the criticisms about Justin Fields? Well, he's young, so we don't know. You kind of know now, but he needs an O-line and he needs weapons. You got DJ Moore, you got an O-lineman. So now what can the kid do? That is going to be really interesting to see how Justin Fields is going to progress. And I think there's a good amount of pressure on him because they have bought into Justin Fields. And if you don't believe me, they traded out of the first overall pick, right? Because if they didn't believe in him, they would have drafted somebody. So now it's all on Justin Fields. Is he the guy? And so with that being said, I think a most pressure team is the Dolphins. Because Tua, it's because it was make or break for Tua last year. He suffered some horrific injuries, so he got a pass because he was crushing it in the beginning. Like that week 2 game against the Ravens, like 6 touchdowns. He was playing really well. He was in that MVP conversation. Yep. Now it's honestly the pressure is not only is the team really good, but the pressure is that he has to stay healthy.
Oh yeah. Like his pressure is to just not get a concussion.
True. It's just you have to be able to play a full season.
Ooh, should Tua be their return man then?
But that's honestly like field. Because listen, McDaniel, I don't think really has any pressure, but I will say this organization has kind of really gone all in on him, giving him every stud that you could possibly. Hell, they traded for Tyreek Hill, right? They got Jalen Ramsey this offseason. So they have they got studs. Pressure. They have studs. I think Love has a good amount of. Let me finish this Tua thought. So with McDaniel, he has a little bit of pressure, but I think if Tua is unable to remain healthy or just doesn't live up to expectations, McDaniel's the one who's going to get a pass and Tua's not. Because I could see, I don't know how many they're going to be out there. I can see the Dolphins after this season, if Tua, I think, again, doesn't stay healthy or doesn't live up to expectations, they could go the route of the Jets and go, we're 1 QB away. Let's bring in a veteran.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniel's under some pressure too. And I think that's just because the Dolphins ownership weird. Like I don't feel like any coach there is safe. Like until I feel good about the way that entire team's run. And I think they've done a lot of smart things personnel wise to build the offense we saw last year when it was thriving. But yeah, they're under a lot of pressure, specifically because that division's kind of insane right now.
Correct. But they have so much star power. So real quick, I just want to talk about this. The Packers, I don't think have a lot of pressure on them. I think they would have had a lot more pressure if they traded away Aaron Rodgers last year. If they traded him last year, back-to-back MVP, and they traded him and Love was not good, they would be ridiculed into the sun. But now they're in this position. They extended him for 1 year, so they have him under a cheapish deal for 2 years. And so if Love works out, cool. Yeah. If he doesn't, they're going to have potentially, likely 2 first-round picks next year. They can make moves. Yeah. So I think Love himself has a lot of pressure on him, but I think they're going to give him a year unless he's catastrophically bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's more pressure because I think he's had, like you said, like the 4 years to get comfortable there, to know the guys. Like, I think that makes a huge difference. And I think it just takes off some of the nerves, the self-inflicted pressure a rookie might feel. I think Love's in a decent spot.
So you think Patriots have girthy pressure?
I do think they have girthy pressure.
I think that they are far and away like the least favored team in the East.
Yeah, maybe the least favored, but I think there's pressure on Belichick. I think there's a lot of pressure on Mac Jones. Last year was weird for them with their coordinator situation. They have an actual offensive coordinator now. Bill O'Brien coming back. I think it's pressure on them to prove they can still be one of the best football teams in the league.
But I don't think anyone thinks they can. Like, I would be very honest. I think that they could have one of the best.
I don't think that's the way it's seen in New England. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're like Robert Kraft expects Belichick and that team to win. Mac Jones, they invested in him. He's coming back. I think there's pressure there.
I think there's pressure on the defense to be really good. I mean, listen, I think there's pressure on Bill O'Brien. Like, Mac Jones kind of gets a pass from Patriots fans a bit because of how bad Matt Patricia was last year. So you bring back Bill O'Brien, which I think is an excellent move for them. Can Bill O'Brien develop Mac Jones? Sure. I think that there's some pressure there. But honestly, dude, like, if the Patriots go like 6-11, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised. But if their defense is really good, and if Mac Jones like shows some development, or either way, then they can know we can move on or not. So
I think like, maybe that's the way we see it. But like, when you're an organization that has been as successful as they have for the last 20 plus years, like, that's the standard. And if they can't show that they can get back to that with their current roster, I think that's like, we were already talking about whether or not like Belichick, they might move on from him this last year, or whether he might leave. Like, I think there's real pressure for them to be very good. And it might be internally. It might be just a New England thing.
Got it. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Like, if you're talking about everybody, yeah, we all expect them to be the worst team in that division while still possibly having like a winning record, right? They could be 9-8 and be bottom feeding in that division, but I don't know. Girthy seems right, but
okay.
Let's do Texans.
I
think they have two stories here.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to start CJ right away. Maybe they do. If Stroud starts right away, I think it's just win some games.
I think it's win some games.
If he doesn't start, then it's just win one game.
Yeah.
Like, once he comes in, they just got to see him flash like one time.
It's because, again, the Texans will be a better team, I think, than they were last year, I think. But they've made some good changes, and I really like them. They took a big swing in the draft, getting Will Anderson and also CJ Stroud. even if CJ Stroud looks to be the guy, they're happy. Like the Texans will be ecstatic because they'll be like, you know what? Finally, we got our franchise QB again. Now let's build around him because they have some decent pieces. Like they have Pierce, they have Stingley, they have some decent pieces, but they need to make sure they have a quarterback. So, oh no, another one. Don't get you're gonna put the Raiders on there, aren't you? Kirk Cousins?
Yep. I don't think they got much pressure.
So I actually really want to talk about the Vikings because I think they're one of the most interesting teams to talk about in this context. Otherwise, I don't even want to think about them. With the Vikings, I said that they would do well last year. I think everyone, including Vikings fans, were surprised at how well they did. Yeah. And everyone knew it was a little fluky, right?
Sure.
Now, that would be very interesting. Now, it's the final year of Kirk Cousins' contract. Are they going to extend him? Dalvin Cook, there's all those rumors about him being released. The defense should be better, but it's probably not going to be amazing. They're in like this weird limbo, and they still have like Justin Jefferson. They go out and they draft a young wide receiver. They're just in like this weird place, and I feel like they're on the precipice of a cliff too, where they're going to have to start making some tough decisions next year. I think they're going to be kind of a middle-of-the-road team in a wide-open division that they could wind up winning, but I just don't know if they're going to be good.
Yeah, I feel like they're in a gap year. They want to move on,
but they shouldn't be, is what I'm saying.
They shouldn't,
because they're about to pay Justin Jefferson $1 billion.
Yeah.
And they don't know if they're going to have a quarterback next year.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they bring in Brian Flores. I think their defense will be on the right track. I don't expect them to be great defensively next year, but they're going to get there. It just seems like they're looking towards the future instead of this is our year. And they might surprise. They might surprise in that division. Sure.
I think the Saints have a girthy pressure too to win that division.
Derek Carr, coming in.
They have I would say the most stable and like veteran presences. Like you have Carr in there, you have Jamal Williams, right? They have a decent offense. They were another one that it was like, hey, you blame the head coach a little bit, you look at offensive coordinator a bit. The defense should be solid. I know they lost a lot of like their D line, but I think that they're ready to go. And I don't think they're going to be amazing, but they should be a 10-win team, and I think that should be enough to win the division.
Yeah, I think Derek Carr's got a lot of pressure.
Sure.
And I don't even know what his weapons are really going to be like in New Orleans. Like, is Kamara going to be out for how long is he going to be out, like suspension-wise, depending on how his legal situation plays out? Is Michael Thomas going to be healthy for more than, a game and a half? They got Olave. Hopefully their offensive line is solid again and healthy. But you're right. In that division, they better win it. The Raiders, God. Dude, Raiders fans expect a lot out of this team. I don't know why they do, but I feel like they don't have pressure. They just got to win some games. I want to say girthy pressure. I really do.
But like everybody knows.
But
everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Like
here's
the thing with Raiders fans, real quick. Except for Guillermo. Anytime I criticize the Raiders, right? Not even talking about the Broncos.
Sure.
They just like to come in and say, we've swept you for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Idiot. Guess what, Raiders fans? Don't care. We have been swept by the Chiefs for like 7 straight years. You're telling me to worry about a little fucking mosquito bite while I'm having a heart attack. We don't think about the fact that you beat us because it doesn't matter.
Well, congrats. You just got West Nile.
Your team was horrible last year. I said they were bad last year. Just because you beat the Broncos doesn't make you a good team suddenly. Your expectations were here, then like you've been all over the place. You snuck into the playoffs because you beat the Chargers. Ooh, 2 years ago. Last year, you were terrible. All right? Year before you got in, you were terrible. I don't think people expect a lot from the Raiders.
Well, so
Outside
Jimmy
of
G has to get surgery. He's probably not going to be ready until training camp. I think it's just the decision to sign Jimmy G is so whelming. They're just like Davante Adams, for example, right? There's a lot of news around Davante Adams, and Davante Adams kind of pushed back because they're like, oh, is Davante Adams going to get traded? Is he going to go somewhere else because Derek Carr is gone? That's the whole reason he came there. And he's like, listen, I want to win a Super Bowl here. So, like, you figure it out. And he's like, go play Monopoly for like those people who are bored and creating clickbait. But
there was like, who the fuck plays Monopoly?
Monopoly is a great game. Anyway, I will destroy you. Of course you will, because you play Monopoly and I don't. Anyway, so
this is my Pokemon Monopoly.
Yeah, how's your Poke-Rap doing, Punishment? Huh? How's that going?
We should be ready Thursday.
You said that 8 Thursdays ago. Anyway, so the Raiders, they make a blockbuster trade for Davante Adams, right? Derek Carr, like, this is going to be the final thing. It's going to unlock Derek Carr. He's fine. Like, they're going to get over the hump. They're going to be so good. Now Derek Carr's not there. They bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, who is he an upgrade to Derek Carr? I think maybe the stability is like a little bit better, but like that's not going to get him over the hump. And that's what I mean. Everybody knows. And then you have a head coach that nobody likes. You have Waller, who got traded to the Giants, who's like, they actually care about our opinions here. Like, nobody likes Josh McDaniels. Yeah. Nobody likes him. The players don't like him. The fans don't like him. But for some reason, the front office is like, yep, here we go. I don't know. Like, I think they're going to be another middle of the road team. And it's going to be disappointing because like it just doesn't seem that they have a direction. It seems like they're running in place.
It's like Josh McDaniels being part of the trade to bring in Davante Adams, who specifically wanted to go to the Raiders to play with Derek Carr, then to trade Derek Carr one season after the two are together, is just everything that is wrong with Josh McDaniels. Now, Tom Brady is going to, assuming he gets approved, have a minority ownership stake in the Raiders. And I love this because I am very curious to see how that plays out with Josh McDaniels moving forward. Because I don't think Tom Brady would tolerate mediocrity, even though he worked well with Josh McDaniels. And the day that they fire Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady is part of the okaying of the firing of Josh McDaniels will be one of my favorite Tom Brady moments ever. And I think it will happen.
What happens when Tom Brady then leads the Raiders to like a winning franchise?
He can't. He's done.
He's washed. He's not going to play. I mean,
he's not going to, he thinks he's smarter than he is. Come in, do all the football moves you want, Tom. Do it. I have no fear whatsoever from you as a minority owner. Pretty sure he's not even a minority either, Tom.
Commanders, football team, whatever, they'll win some games. I feel like there's very little pressure. Happy that Dan Snyder's gone or will be gone. And that's it. Steelers, yes, I was going to talk to you about this. I feel like that there's a girthy amount of pressure on them because
Kenny Pickett got to take a leap.
Kenny Pickett's got to take a leap. They traded up for Broderick Jones, which I really like. I really, really like that move. Invest in the O-line. Najee Harris coming in again. I think that there is a good amount of pressure there to see some development for the offense because that offense last year, woof. And again, Kenny, like after that bye week, I think he went a bunch of games. Did he throw another? I mean, he threw like one interception the rest of the season. Like he did pretty well in terms of not turning the ball over. And you saw some progress from like what was a pretty not great start. And that's what you want to see, like had game-winning drives. And you're like, yes, like let's go. So now you have George Pickens, who I think is going to be a monster. You know, you could use a little bit more weapons, but like maybe Freiermuth and things like that. I think they got a good amount of pressure in a division that's weird. The Ravens are going to be expected to be good. The Bengals are expected to be good. And then who the hell knows what's going on with the Browns. Can the Steelers fight for a spot in the AFC, which is really, really crowded, really, really competitive?
I think here's my question. Like, I'm wondering if Steelers fans would be a little more critical of Kenny Pickett if he wasn't coming out of Pitt. Like, if he played college in any other state, I think there'd be some more pressure on him. And don't get me wrong, he was safe with the football, but he threw 7 touchdown passes to 9 picks last year. Didn't have a single game where he threw for more than 1 touchdown pass. Now, he did, I think it was like early in the season, couple rushing touchdowns, I think in one game. Like, to me, like, but expectations were not super high for Kenny Pickett. The fact that he went in the first round, we were just like, oh, thank God a quarterback went in the first round.
Yeah.
So I don't think he has first round expectations, but how many games did he start? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 games, 7 TDs, 9 picks. It's just, I know it's part of a process.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he were somewhere else, but maybe Steelers fans' expectations went that low immediately. I don't know.
I think
I think he will be a fascinating player to me to watch. And I'm not saying he's bad.
Correct.
And I'm not saying he can't be a good quarterback. I just, like, whenever I watched the Steelers and Pickett, I was more bored than when I watched even Mac Jones.
I get you. Yeah, I think the problem, honestly, is it's not necessarily a problem. Part of it is Kenny Pickett has a safety net too, though, because we're talking about Sean Payton having a safety net because it's Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson sucks, then they're like, okay, gone. Like, they're not going to fire Sean Payton. Here, the Steelers, they still have Matt Canada. And Matt Canada sucks. Like, he is not a good offensive coordinator. And so if the offense doesn't look amazing still, I think that there is a shield in unless it's like turnover city for Kenny Pickett. But again, I think you're going to find that Canada's not going to be like revolutionary with that. And you talk about the Chargers, and that's where you and I like are having like that conflict, right? We talk about how bad was Lombardi. Like, is Lombardi really the reason why the Chargers offense like couldn't be as explosive as it should be? We're about to find out.
Yeah. It's like the Steelers want to be this run first team, and I think they should be. It's just their running game's got to be better. Like, per play,
because their offensive line was trash, dude. Najee was like carrying the team at times. Like, the amount of times that they rushed
2.5 yards at a time, he was carrying the team.
Oh my God. Like, that offense was just pain. It was run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. Yeah. It was just, Jesus Christ. It was so predictable. Like, it was horrible to watch.
But Steelers are an interesting team.
Yes.
That division's going to be tough, though.
Because I'm curious, everybody's talking about the AFC of having these star quarterbacks, and these offenses are supposed to be so good. Is there going to be a team in the AFC that has a defense that can shut that down? Like, the Jets are that weird, like, they could have both. They could have that good offense, and they could have that suffocating defense. Can the Steelers have an efficient offense and have a good defense? Like, I think that's going to be their shot if they're going to make some noise in the AFC this year.
Yeah, and TJ Watt just has to be healthy the full season.
Yeah.
Like, we saw how much he means to that defense.
Yes.
The step back without him, so.
Look at that. We were gone for a little bit and freaking almost an hour and a half.
Good God.
It was a good show. Start with Seaman and end with rankings. We fulfilled our duty to the
Circle of Life.
Title of the show.
Circle of Life.
That's it, baby. That is it.
What do you got coming out today, Tom?
Speaking of, I have a Steelers fan reaction to the season. It's the last one. Once this is done, all 32 teams done. This season will be released on Monday. And then, Q&A tonight, 30 and 30. First video will be out on Thursday. We start filming on Tuesday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So
hell yeah. I'm getting Johnny one more video. I got to shoot that I got the 2022 season recap coming.
There you go.
The,
There you go.
The
What do you got? So that's what you got coming out?
No, I got to shoot that today. I'll probably have a short. I'm still on vacation mode.
Okay. And I'll be seeing Brandon Perna
Monday?
Well, not soon. No. Monday. So my flight's at 7 a.m.
Oh, so no show Monday.
Potentially, because I think I land in Green Bay at like 10:30. Oh, yeah. So that's too late. Yeah. So no show Monday.
No show Monday. Maybe Wednesday?
Maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. One of the others. Yeah. Like we're going to have to coordinate. It honestly might just be played by ear because we got to see how travel goes.
TBD.
TBD.
Need good internet, need time. Those things are dicey on the road.
Correct.
Especially Wisconsin, where they just introduced internet.
It's true. But by the way, we got the draft. Oh my God. I'm so happy. I am so happy, Brandon. Like, you don't understand. There is a sense of pride that just like filled me because like knowing Mark Murphy for all these years, like this dude, like that was his legacy. Like he wants to get the draft. It's the
a great
last
place for the draft too.
What happened?
I said it's a great place for the draft.
I can't, talk to your boys about that, but yes.
My boys.
Yeah. So one particular Denver reporter seemed to think otherwise, but
who?
Dude, you didn't see that because you were away.
Name drop. Who said who didn't like
Albright got destroyed by Packers Twitter. Because he went
there
Albright because he's been there twice, and he said the last time was 2019. He's like, I'm not going. He's like, I don't want to have to drive everywhere. He's like, it's not going to be a good draft. Yeah, suck it. Anyway, more importantly, like Mark Murphy. So there's a mandatory retirement age. He's retiring in July of 2025. So this will be the last like big thing that he does. So he finally got it. And he gets off into the sunset. It's just like such an odd, like the Green Bay, the city, like it legit means so much for this city. Like it's going to bring so much money to them, so much revenue. And talking about breaking like stereotypes, Green Bay is still seen as like this small, like little town, like up in northern Wisconsin. And like, this is an opportunity. There's going to be challenges. Like this is an opportunity for Green Bay to be like, nah, like we're not
cool. I love it.
Grandpa's Green Bay.
I love it.
I am going to host.
How old does he have to be when he retires? What's the retirement?
70, I think, is the mandatory retirement age.
Yeah. Should have the same thing for U.S. presidents.
Yeah, it should be congressional members too. But I am just so happy, and I am going to throw the biggest effing draft party live in Green Bay that the world has ever seen. It's happening.
We should go there. Well, we'll see where we're at in a couple of years. You might not like me then.
I'll be dead.
We should go and we should figure out you should do the party, but it should be at a player's house. We should just do it at AJ Dillon's house.
What's that? What else is he doing? We can watch the baby.
Yeah, he can babysit while we do video activities.
He can babysit. So like we basically just invade his house. There's no upside. It's just like we're in his kitchen.
Look, if there's anybody I trust protecting my daughter, it is AJ Dillon.
That is true. I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. But dude, I like legitimately the sense of pride and pure joy that I felt. Like it legit, I like it was pride. I was like, I'm so happy and proud of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Like I'm so happy and proud for like the fan base, for the city, for the front office. They've been trying this for years. They built it up from a freaking Kmart parking lot to Titletown District. Like it's gonna be so incredible. The enthusiasm's going to be amazing. Like the amount of tailgating that is going to be going on in lot 1, it's going to be its own separate thing. Like it's going to have that small town feel. God, it's
going to be really
excited.
Cool too, because the Packers will be drafting first overall in that draft.
Nothing could even upset me with
It'll
that.
Be 0-16. It'll be the first 0-17 team with the number 1 overall pick.
I do not care.
One year they're like, there's not a quarterback worth a first rounder.
So I really thought that next year was probably the year that this was going to happen. And it might still, but now I might literally hold out and be like, no, if I could announce a pick
in
Green Bay during the draft,
pick would be sick.
That legitimately will be like a lifetime accomplishment for me that I'll be like, I've never been more satisfied with something. So yeah, no, I am going to do everything in my power to make that. I don't care if it's a 7th round pick. I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. So blow up 30 and 30. Let's effing go to the draft. But folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back when we're back. It's gonna be a little challenging, but
it'll be wild.
But folks, I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And for an hour and a half, you have been navigated.
You've reached your destination. Buckle